The voice of sharing during ASEAN.
ASEAN Dailies. First and the foremost news from Southeast Asia.
Hello, welcome to During ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
So Arlene, did you know that yesterday was the Grammy?
Oh, yes, I do. What do you think about it?
I watched a few clips on YouTube, of course. It was interesting. A couple of mishaps with the Adele's performance, Lady Gaga's rendition of Davy's voice, so. But there were some really notable performances there.
Yes, definitely. I mean, who could forget the impressive piano jazz performance by our Southeast Asian very own Joey Alexander from Indonesia? And guess what? He's only 12 years old. I'm so proud of him.
Exactly. Well, I agree with you. Hopefully, more Southeast Asians can emulate his success. So on ASEAN Daily, we'll bring you daily updates and commentaries on issues and events that are impacting this region. I'm your host, Grace Cho.
And this is Arlene Tan. On today's Business as Usual Wednesday, 17 February 2016, we will bring you the latest political and current affairs news from Southeast Asia.
Our top story today, Obama is using the ASEAN Summit in Sunnyland, California to refocus U.S. foreign policy in Asia.
This is his last chance to work his presidency before the next U.S. presidential election.
So if you're talking about his foreign policy in Asia, this is his legacy, the rebalance of U.S. foreign policy towards the Asia-Pacific region.
That's true, Grace. And as we all know, Sunnylands is not your typical meeting hall, round tables, not like the KLCC last year for the ASEAN Summit. It's practically a vacation spot. In fact, Obama's aides said that the informal setting offers a rare opportunity for candor to discuss issues of mutual interest, such as the South China Sea dispute, the North Korean nuclear program, the global fight against IS and radicalization, as of course, the TPP deal among the US and several other Asian nations.
So, National Security Advisor Susan Rice said the summit on U.S. soil reflects a return on 7 years of significant and sustained investment by this administration and by President Obama personally in the Asia-Pacific and Southeast Asia in particular.
And Obama is definitely serious about the strategic partnership with ASEAN. He emphasized during the summit's opening session. He said, ASEAN grouping is central to Southeast Asia's peace and prosperity and to the shared goal of building a regional order where all nations play by the same rules.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. At an ASEAN summit in Malaysia in November last year, the US elevated its relationship with the alliance to the level of a strategic partnership. Ms. Rice said the region was becoming the world's political and economic center of gravity.
So from just a crush, now they become a real relationship. I wonder when they are getting married for ASEAN and US.
The relationship.
Anyway, let's go to the next news. The next one, we will still discuss about the US-ASEAN Summit, but this time with a focus in Vietnam. Do you know that Obama will be visiting Vietnam the first time in May since his presidency? Talking about the rise of paper rice rolls and Vietnamese coffee.
Yummy, but you're still thinking about food. Anyways, yeah, I do agree with you. Vietnam has become a significant economic power in ASEAN.
And in fact, his Vietnam visit will be not just in May, but in the same time as his visit in the region for the Group of 7 summit in Japan. This was confirmed by the White House after Obama met the Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Thanh Duc on the sidelines of the Sunnylands Summit.
So here, let's share some fun facts. Obama will become the third American president in a row to travel to Vietnam.
Oh, really?
So that's after Bill Clinton in 2000 became the first to visit since the end of the Vietnam War, while George W. Bush visited in 2006.
So what's the strategic interest for US and Vietnam? Why they are getting closer now? Well, Washington has sought to improve relations with Hanoi at a time when Vietnam has signaled a shift to the West as a hedge against China's increasingly aggressive strategy in the South China Sea. Not to mention, Vietnam is also a strong member of the TPP and it have the economic reform as high on its agenda.
Right. So let's move on from Vietnam and we can go to Myanmar this time. So next story is about Myanmar Army Chief Min Hon Liang and his deputy. They are to get 5 years extensions as the talks for democratic transition with the Suu Kyi continue. So decisions were announced at the recent quarterly meeting of top-level military officials.
Wow, 5-year extension.
Exactly.
What a lucky bastard. Anyway, the move means that Min Aung Hlaing has consolidated his power base among the military leadership. Talking about more power to the military, this would definitely allow the army to avoid a top-level reshuffle at this very sensitive period.
That's correct. The National League of Democracy, or NLD, has to deal with the military, which guarantees 25% of seats in parliament and 3 security ministries under junta-drafted constitution. So details of these talks between the NLD and the army remain murky, and with this move, it would only boost Min Aung Hlaing's position in talks with the Suu Kyi.
And ironically, the Voice newspaper, which is based in Myanmar, cited that a military source based in Naypyidaw did not clarify the legal basis for the army 5-year extension. And it did not even explain whether the decision would require an approval by the president.
You're right. I mean, Myanmar's opaque and the imprecise constitution has confused lawmakers and experts for sure, whether the army chief would need the permission from the president or a change of law or to obtain the extension. So current regulation stimulate the army chief has to retire apparently at 60.
Yeah, I guess the way forward is Myanmar definitely need a new constitution. Anyway, the next news is about China. China high-speed railway projects is part of its foreign policy in Southeast Asia, and Beijing is seeing it as a geopolitical tool to support its One Belt, One Road ambition.
So it's all about one again.
I guess so.
So Indonesia President Jokowi has signaled that the Jakarta and the Bandung high-speed railway, or we call it HSR, will be Jokowi's main priority in his presidency. I mean, with Jakarta facing all those the markets, is it?
Macet.
Market. It's called market.
Yeah, in Indonesia.
Or it's a car traffic jams all the time. They badly need really a good public transportation.
Couldn't agree more. The mega project is stipulated in the presidential decree on the national strategic planning. Do you know that it's really important for Jokowi, despite the public debate over its tender process, feasibility, transportation regulations, financial arrangements, and even environmental issues?
Well, but the biggest question here is what kind of economic diplomacy Indonesia is playing by choosing the Chinese over the Japanese proposal. Is Indonesia entrapped in the Chinese sphere of influence due to the growing vested interests among all those conglomerates? Or is it the HSR project held hostage by Indonesia, China, economic relations that have resulted in Indonesia's US $15 billion trade deficit?
For China, the Southeast Asia HSR project is definitely good for their geopolitical interests because they want to put pressure to Southeast Asia into accepting China rise as a global power for 2 reasons.
That's correct. And also the Southeast Asia HSR project connects Kunming and also Singapore, which are about 3,900 kilometers apart. So these routes will be divided into several corridors and dissecting Vietnam, Laos, Thailand and Malaysia. The mainland Southeast Asia HSR project is part of China's short and long-term economic expansion strategy.
And the HSR projects connecting Jakarta-Bandung that pitted Japan against China head-on had something to do with domestic economic problems plaguing the two countries. In late 2014, President Xi Jinping transformed China's foreign policy by introducing what he called big country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics.
So, talking about Chinese characteristics, this new approach takes shape and Xin Xin Quan Xing? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think you need a Chinese boyfriend to help you on that.
Help me, Arlene. How do you pronounce this?
It's pronounced as Xing Xing, 国际广西.
And well, to add on that, China is also promoting this iron diplomacy. Let me try to pronounce this again. 国ting外交.
It's 高铁外交.
Okay, apparently that refers to HSR project as an object of international relations and also an important element of China's diplomacy.
And whatever it is, it seems like the Jakarta-Bandung HSR project marks a revolution in national transportation infrastructure in Indonesia and a path to genuine and honest win-win cooperations between giant China and Southeast Asia.
That's all from our ASEAN Daily today. Thanks for tuning into Durian ASEAN with Grace Cho
and Arlene Tan. For more updates on Southeast Asia, please tune into our website at durianasean.com. If you're on the go, you can always download our TuneIn app on your mobile.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Durian ASEAN and Durian ASEAN TV. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. We always welcome feedback from our listeners.
Stay tuned with ASEAN Daily by tomorrow Thursday, same time at 12 to 1 p.m. on GMT+8. Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.